Time to spray for TNA. I was quite looking forward to reviewing Impact this week, but this show comes with a trigger warning because I almost smashed up my TV at one point. I guess it wouldn't be TNA without the Hawk getting angry. We are coming off of a mixed pay-per-view. I definitely did enjoy parts, but in other parts I felt disappointed. I'm sorry, but that Knockouts match was not good. The tag title match was not good. The world title was just okay. Ultimate X and Falls Count Anywhere both were a lot of fun. The WWE presence seems more dominant than ever lately. I still can't believe they own AAA now as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with TNA. The show starts out with Santino Nutella. He meets with the Mole, Sami Callihan. Warner and Delander quickly join them. Sami and Warner seem like they may bond over having one of the most violent matches in TNA history. Warner and Sami shake hands reluctantly, and it does seem to be over, which Nutella is relieved about. Out next it's Mike Santana, who won his feud with Mustafa Ali at the pay-per-view in a great match. He's just having a squash match here against a man called Isaiah Moore. What a moron. But no, it's Santana who's almost a moron, getting rolled up. Moore is desperate to make the most of his big opportunity. Moore's doing well until he runs into a Death Valley driver. Santana hits a cannonball and a set-out powerbomb for the 3. Wow, perfect squash match. The other guy got to do some stuff, but not to the detriment of Santana, and ultimately it was a simple squash. Santana's feeling good about himself. He calls out Joe Hendry, which makes sense because this is what he was doing before the Ali feud started. He says he's going to beat Joe Hendry for the world title, which is actually well received by the crowd. I was worried they might boo him for saying that. Out next, it's the man without a grin, Steve Maclin. He may have won at the pay-per-view, but he was jumped by crackheads after the match. And it happens again here. Eric joins in the attack with a chain. You can't blame Young for being angry. He just wants to hang out with his best friend Maclin, but instead he has to hang out with crackheads. Once again, they sort of hang Maclin. I guess this will be our next hardcore feud. The crackheads keep headbutting each other. There's some real character development right there. Santino Nutella meets with Eric and the crackheads. The man without a grin walks into the room screaming and being held back. Santino says they can fight next week, and I doubt that's going to be the last time. It'll just end in some sort of screwy way, and then they'll have a match at the pay-per-view to end it. Up next, it's discussed how Leon Slater didn't win the X Division title at Ultimate X. TNA basically admit that the result between Moose and the boy from Bradford could have gone either way. So naturally, Moose will now be defending his title against Crackery Wentz. Yeah, Crackery Wentz. Apparently Wentz has a rematch clause. How many months ago was that? Probably would have been better to forget about it, especially because the Hawk doesn't like the little rascals. Moose tries to end this one quickly with a go to hell, which he can't manage. Wentz starts booting him all around the ring. He flies with a missile dropkick, which makes Moose leave the ring so Wentz can hit a corkscrew dive. Will someone please give this guy a bath? Wentz keeps doing well until he's caught with Uranagi. Moose also hits a slam on the outside, but he's not in any sort of rush to win here. Out of nowhere, Wentz goes springing off the ropes into a knee to the face. We head out the ring again, where Wentz hits Moose with a moonsault. Moose now patiently waits in the ring for Wentz to hit another dive on him. He misses his next one, and Moose is able to hit a powerbomb. Wentz kicks out to everybody's shock. Now Wentz almost rolls him up as a spear counter. A victory roll pin gets him another 2 before Moose hits the pump kick. He impressively flies off the top of a crossbody, but his powerbomb is countered, this time into another 2-count roll-up. Moose once again tries the spear. This time it's an X-Factor waiting for him. Wentz also hits the spiral tap, and it should be done, but it's not. Miss Pierce starts interfering, which allows Moose to hit the spear, and now it's over. The only way for Moose to beat Crackery Wentz was through cheating. Miss Pierce is like Slapnuts with his guitar. She almost guarantees victory. The commentary team say it was the best TNA match they've ever seen. Wow, low standards here. Up next, an injury report. Hendry is fine despite getting beaten up on NXT. The boy from Bradford showed no injuries after falling from the sky. Mustafa Ali is also fine, but he's bruised. And Tasha Steelz is put out of action by Mike Santana. This TNA injury report was sponsored by Arseflex. If your ass is hurting and in need of a flex, Arseflex. It won't help your broken eyes like specs, but it'll help empty your ass like mechs. And here's a little rascal, Trey Miguel, demonstrating how it works. A scruffy-looking Mustafa Ali refuses to talk. One of the bad hands speaks on his behalf. He says Mustafa Ali will destroy everything, whatever that means. You know I mentioned that trigger warning earlier on. Yeah, we're gonna need that now. Here comes Cody Deaner. He's doing an Eric Young gimmick where he's about to be fired. Except, nobody would miss him. He reveals his contract expires at midnight. He can't get a new deal because he hasn't won a match in over a year. Wow. His boring thanking of the TNA fans goes on forever. This segment is dragged out further when Santino Nutella interrupts. He says he's been listening to the speech backstage and he was crying listening to it. Santino says he's going to extend Dina's contract. If Dina can only beat Eddie Slapnut Edwards at the next pay-per-view, he can have a new contract. Can't we just fire both of them, please? Then it gets worse. Jesus Christ, it gets worse. From one jobber to another. Robbie E is back in TNA, God help. He's got Alicia Fox with him too, because somebody seriously hates me. Robbie E is scared of clowns. Robbie E is a clown. He says that TNA needs him. Yeah, like I need another boil on my ass. He will be in charge of Santino Nutella for some reason. Do we really need this? For God's sake, he's essentially going to be Cyrus the Virus in ECW. And for some reason, Alicia Fox is automatically getting a Knockouts title match at the next pay-per-view. I've seen a lot of bad TNA wrestling, but this 5-minute segment might be the worst in TNA history. Everything bad about TNA in one compounded 5-minute segment. I feel sick. I want to punch a brick. This is slowly turning into LOL TNA. Remember when TNA did something hilariously dumb every week? We're almost there, except now it's one good show followed by one terrible show every week. Robbie E is now in charge of TNA, great. Yeah. Who remembers his epic feud with Devon Dudley? I sure do. They bring in some complete clown jobber who ate up so much TV time over the years, but we're going to pretend none of that happened. WWE has blatantly disregarded TNA fans' feelings about this one. Robbie E was despised in TNA. He isn't some sort of TNA legend. He was a goofball who they only kept around because he was cheap. He is despised. What can I compare this to for WWE fans? What about if Enzo Amore comes back? That would really piss people off. That's how this felt to me. And Alicia Fox just getting a title shot for no reason? It's the same thing every week. When are TNA fans going to turn their backs on this show? Can we just call a spade a spade? TNA is exactly WWE developmental. We just fucking been through all of this a week ago of Trick Williams, and Ethan Page 2 weeks before that, and about 20 different NXT girls before that. Why did they just get a title shot? It doesn't make any sense. The TNA roster should be up in arms. How is nobody complaining about this? Since WWE have taken over, Dani Luna has become a complete non-factor on this show. She was the next logical person to build up to challenge for the Knockouts belt, not Alicia Fox. And I swear to God, TNA, you better not bring back her disgusting music. That music made me feel my nappy of anger. There's something about it, it's the certain tone of diarrhea triggering beat which runs down to your feet. WWE, you do realise how much this guy was seen as a joke in TNA. We thought we'd got rid of him. We don't want him back. All you're doing is pissing people off. I thought I'd seen it all. What a show. And then they all meet in the back. Tessa Blanchard walks up and complains that TNA is turning into a comedy club. Tessa says Robbie E is doing the right thing. How is he doing the right thing? This doesn't make any sense. Santino gave her a title shot recently. Robbie E has just given a title shot to the WWE girl. By the way, Alicia Fox looks about 60. Tessa leaves with Robbie E, so I guess Tessa is now endorsed by the WWE. Nothing makes any sense. Tessa should hate him. Chris Van Vliet is here, getting a large crowd pop. It's a Knockouts match now. Maggie Lee, who makes the... I thought they said she was going to have a makeover because she's too ugly. I don't see how she fits into the Elegance brand. She faces Jodie Frett. Jesus, who is this match appealing to? The TNA arena looks very empty tonight. Jodie Frett is sort of hilarious to watch though. I love all her asthma attacks between her moves. Maggie Lee grabs an eyelash and hits a cutter from the top, surprisingly just the two, and then Frett wins with a TKO. Which is... why is it called Shove It? I'll make her fucking shove it in a minute. In the back, the Elegance brand approach Maggie Lee. They scream at her for losing. As a punishment, she will now have to have a makeover. They start a free Botox chant, which causes Maggie Lee to smile with happiness. I can't believe I'm saying this. This was the highlight of the show. Hell, I might even join them. This show is giving the Hawks some serious frown lines. Things somehow get worse because Indy Fartwell is out next. Is this the girl I used to call the Persian Parasite? Apparently, she is not an NXT girl because WWE released her and she is signed with TNA. We can't really have a problem with this one as she is a signing that's only 28 years old and it's not as a vast collection of free agents for TNA to sign. She says she watched the TNA Knockouts as a kid while she tries to hold back her smile. They ask her who she wants to face, but she doesn't reveal who because she doesn't know who anyone is. She has crossed the line. Casey Navarro out next. First Class have new music. Why are so many male wrestlers wearing crop tops now? Do they realise how stupid this looks? He takes on Leon Slater, the boy from Bradford. Another loss for Casey Navarro incoming. Slater wipes him out quickly with a handspring. On the outside, Bradford boy hits a sort of 619, which is pretty cool. AJ Francis causes a distraction and the ref sends him to the back. Navarro hits a nice DDT for a 2. The boy comes back with a Bradford boot and a twisting suplex for a 2. Slater misses a crazy dive out of the ring, but he lands on his feet. Navarro dumps in his nappy of fear as another Bradford boot connects. Slater comes back into the ring with a Swanton 450 for the win. Called it. The strong booking for Slater continues. In the back, Masha Slamovich tries to figure out why Alicia Fox is in TNA. She makes a good point that she's been defending her title week in and week out, but Alicia Fox has been doing nothing for the last few years. Highlights now of Joe Hendry going to NXT searching for Trick Williams, but instead he was assaulted by a group called the Dark State. Then some other guys told him that they had his back. One of them looks like Seth Rogen mixed with Sami Zayn. Their catchphrase is honk honk. Someone better smack these writers one, but at least TNA explained something from NXT. That was one of my complaints. It's never explained or even mentioned what happened on NXT, so this was good. The main event is a 6-man tag with the Zolf Diggler brothers teaming up to take on Frankie, not the future Kazarian, take on the Hardy Boys and Joe Hendry. But they do a special intro saying, "I believe in Jeff Hardy." His gormless face makes it even funnier. Great ovation for these guys. The Hardy Boys have rats at ringside like it's 1999. The Hardy Boys clear the ring and the fun start continues. Hardys and Hendry continue dominating throughout the advert break. The heels take over on Hendry. Dolph hits him with multiple punches to the gut. The Hardy Boys don't like that one. Hendry eventually hits a suplex on Ryan Nemeth and tags out. It's the broken one next. He deletes Ryan in the corner. He nails a side effect. Matt Hardy also connects with a middle rope diving elbow for a 2. The match then breaks down and Kaz hits Matt with a guillotine leg drop and Ryan Nemeth smacks Matt down again. It's Kaz now with a springboard leg drop for a 2. Out of nowhere, Matt reverses his next move with a Russian leg sweep. The tag is made to Shannon's friend. He hits all of your favourite Jeff Hardy offense, don't you just love him? Dolph reverses the twist of fate though into a 2-count pin. Matt Hardy comes in and they hit Poetry in Motion together. Now it's a side effect from Matt into a Jeff Hardy middle rope splash that causes the match to break down again. Joe Hendry starts throwing everyone with sacks full of shit. He dodges a belt shot from Kazarian and hits the twist of fate. Dolph Ziggler responds with a super kick, but it's all for nothing as Hendry gives him a standing ovation. Then Trick Williams drags Hendry to the outside of the ring into the steps. Jeff Hardy is left dumping all his way in his nappy back to North Carolina as his Swanton Bomb is disrupted. Dolph Ziggler wins with the Danger Zone. Trick Williams knees Hendry in the face, and that's how the show ends. There were some good matches in there with some horrible decisions from TNA and real head scratchers. I think it's probably time to accept this is for what it is. This was the clearest show so far where NXT really felt like a dominant force. I mean, they're literally running the show in storyline terms too now as well. TNA is NXT developmental. I don't want to watch Robbie E, I really don't. I guess I should be counting my lucky stars that the Welsh Roider isn't in NXT right now. Hopefully we'll get some new storylines starting up in the next few weeks because there wasn't a whole lot to like it, and if you don't agree with that, find a cliff and start to steer.